I'm going to stand on the side and thank you, a very warm welcome. Thank you so much to KFC for opening up this beautiful home for all of us. As I said, I'm Mota Mota. I sit at Nestlé just up the road. Funny enough, all the food and beverage companies are on one street. It's quite interesting. So, following on from what Nabila said, I think it's important that every single part of you who've experienced what it feels like to run a business, be a part of a business, thinking about business, and actually just wanting to do something different, it takes a lot of courage. Right? And as Nestlé, we're not perfect. I can tell you that much. We're not perfect, but we try to do something different that at least it means that the next person that comes after us has a little bit of better chance of succeeding. All right, so I'm from a Swiss company, so everything always has a roadmap. I'll try to cover this within about 15 minutes. All right, so we'll look at a bit of the business environment on our specific area. Now, I represent 23 countries in East and Southern Africa, but I'm going to make, hopefully, my content suit South Africa for today. So if you have any questions, try saving for the panel discussions if you can. All right, we'll look at food systems and how they actually work and where we start to play and make a difference, and when and why Nestlé needs youth yourselves. So, how many of you actually know how food is made? I know Koketsu does, yeah? Okay. This is a very complex road of how food is actually made, where it comes from the farm to the fork, how you actually start to invest in your purchase of food. All right, as a consumer, you often get to the shelves, and I can guarantee you here, many of us have the same products in our pantries, but we don't often ask ourselves, what impact is it going to have on your health, your well-being, right? Your next decision. And sometimes there is no perfect solution to that. But every single day, one of these chambers within our supply chain is affected by impact. It could be waste, it could be choice, it could be competitors, it could be the climate, it could even be yourselves or the person sitting next to you. Right? We've had looting, we've had break-ins, we've had energy crises, we have a permit crisis, we're constantly in a crisis. And every now and then we look, we say there's another crisis, right? But in all of this, there's something specific that always remains. And that is about what you make as a decision and how you can make that difference. So I said South Africa, okay? This is a very complex world of Nestlé. Okay, we have 7 factories, almost 3,400 employees to date. Okay, but our biggest challenge is that we need to move food from the farm all the way up to Eastern Horn of Africa. All right, in places that are stricken by war, famine, trade, currencies, you can name it, the list goes on and on. I'll tell you one fact from last week. 2 weeks ago, when we had that snap of the snow, I get a call from one of our suppliers in Mossel Bay. And he says to me, Mota, I'm panicking. I said, what's wrong? Another crisis. He says, it's so cold that the cows can't produce milk. I said, so what do you mean they can't produce milk? It's like, it's too cold, they don't want to go outside, they don't want to eat, they don't want to produce milk. So I thought, okay, 1 day is fine. He said, no, it's been 4 days. So I said, okay, what's the implication? He says, well, think about it. 4 days of 13,000 cows not producing milk. Okay? I said, okay. And he says, you have 228 trucks that need to go from Mossel Bay to the diagram I showed you before, right here actually. I said, okay. And then he said, then you've got people in the factories waiting for the milk. And the milk doesn't just go from the truck straight into the plant. Someone has to test the milk. Now imagine what climate has done to that milk sitting, traveling, cold weather when it shouldn't be. And now it gets to a factory. They test it. Maybe it's right, maybe it's not. It goes into production. You have people on the lines, packing, sorting, assessing, quality assurance. That whole process alone takes 2 days. Okay? So we're at day 6. You have the biggest retailers in the continent calling, saying, is my stock going to arrive? You say, yeah, of course it's going to arrive. Okay? Then you get another call. The N3 is down. They're burning tires. Toll gates aren't working. Trucks are hijacked. home, or someone you know, as a child, waiting for Nestlé. As simple as, mommy, daddy, brother, sister, can I please just have a little bit of powdered milk for today? Okay, we're still not at the end. Day 7, we get to one of our many distribution points.
Day 8, all right? Now it's the long weekend. South Africans love long weekends. Okay? Pick and Pay is saying, cut off for delivery, 12 o'clock, Wednesday of that week. Day 8 of us, but Wednesday of that week. We say, geez, like guys, what are we going to do here? Okay? So now you go business continuity plans. I'm sure Andrea will tell us all about that in her examples. What it means is that the factories don't stop. Okay? So now you're paying overtime on a workforce. By the way, South Africa is the 13th most expensive country to have labor workforce. Our laws, policies, all of that take into account. So now you tell a team of 80 members in a factory, please stay on. Stay until 2 a.m. The truck finally arrives, everyone is now panicking, they're getting it through production, and then we go to stage 6. Okay? We look at the diesel reserves, we say, geez, guys, it's tight, but we'll make it. Okay, cool, we're all positive, we're making an impact. Okay, come midnight, first call comes in, security officer, who's been taking all the trucks around all the different points, says, guys, our route has to change. There's reports of X, Y, and Z. Okay, fine. I'm still on my social media thinking, okay, no one's complained, this is fine, this is fine. Day 9, guys, day 9 of a 30-day week, or 30-day month, sorry. And then eventually you get a call that says, okay, we're packing. Okay, cool, we stage 6, we're burning diesel, we're packing. Next morning hits, finance minister says, new regulation. Food and beverage companies can get a tax deductible expense, but only for the manufacturers. So you get a call from Checkers, ShopRite, Pick and Pay, Woolies, and they say, guys, we need something out of this. So who gets that cost? Who takes on that cost? We're day 10 now. I get into a boardroom, someone says, come, let's decide. Quality, you got legal, you got technical, you got every single person, marketing, brand, the person who's responsible for this brand. And everyone says, legal, what do you think? Communications, what do you think? And we go with it, a decision. Day 11, okay? Remember how many cows we were talking about. We still haven't heard if they've started producing milk. And now we've got the weight of a decision that affects 23 countries. Still, we're trying to make an impact. Day 13. Guys, we've made a decision. We will supply overstock. Get to the shops, as a consumer, you get to the shelf and you say, I'm not going to pay that. Why? 3 rand more. I'm not going to pay that. Okay, that's fine. One customer. Multiply it by 100 in one day. Becomes 1,000 in 2 days. End of the week, it's 10,000 people who've said no. We're going to try be yes people, but they've said no. Day 14, and then you look at the numbers of the sales report. Now you've overstocked, you've had to overpay, you've had to secure, you've had to transport, you've had to make decisions. You're down to stage 2, retailers have asked for discounts, and, customers get to the store, no one's putting it in their basket. What do you do with all that milk that hasn't been bought and consumed? By the way, your child or your family member, your friend still wants the powdered milk, remember? So, when we look back at this, it's not as simple. So the next time you think about how my food gets to me or how my business needs to operate, remember there's always a plan. But that plan doesn't mean it's going to save you. So what do? We try to face some of these issues, okay? There's a food and beverage industry, it's very vibrant. There's a lot of these headwinds we hear about, our currency is devaluing, people are fighting in parliament, it doesn't affect me. I'm okay. I have my business, I'm cool, I hired a few people, wait for it. Fierce competition, now it starts to affect you. Okay, you have the old players coming out of the woods, starting to put adverts out. People are starting to see, hey, look, almond milk, soy milk, normal milk, dairy milk. You like plant-based, what is going on? Okay. Remember my example of Nestlé? That's dairy, it's a cow. I can't tell technical and engineers, no, don't milk the cows. We'll just stop using Nestlé. Okay. Who gets affected? Department of Trade and Industry start calling, Nestlé, what's going on? You guys are stopping milk. What's going on? No, because it's plant-based. It's better for the environment. Okay, well, maybe. Plausible. Arguable. Then we get down to some of the retailers competing with you as a manufacturer. You know, no name. You get the little white label and you're like, oh, it's cheaper, it's this, it's that. Fine, it's fine. We get to the bottom, it's a challenge, sustainability. Is this going to sustain us making these decisions? We don't know. So we keep going. Then we look at these stats and we see things, obesity keeps coming up, healthy living keeps coming up, aging population keeps coming up, people aren't getting employed keeps coming up. We're still a business, right? Everyone here wants to be in business, everyone wants to do something about themselves, but you're not thinking about this. Because why? You're not really sure about how it's going to get there for you. How will this affect you? I can tell you another story. If someone is obese and you're selling a healthy product such as weight loss pill or nutrition plan, do you think they're going to be able to afford you? Maybe, maybe not. What happens if they don't afford you? Can you still sell your nutritional plan? Maybe not. But when you start to factor in a lot of this, things become quite crazy for you, okay? I was at a discussion with the World Food Program this week. That stat on the bottom right, 783 million. I had it as 560 million. They said to me, you're way off. I said, how did it get there? They said it in 2 years. That's how it got there. I said, okay. Everyone's still with me? Okay, let's keep going. I'm presenting with you all the factors around making an impact and where you start to play and make a difference, okay? Like I said before, diabetes is right at the top, okay? A lot of us make decisions about what we put in our bodies, but a lot of us don't think about if someone else is going to be employed by making that decision, or how much can I do to make a difference in that. It becomes really hard at the bottom, as you can see. And then you have things like, unfortunately, Bryanston out of water for 3 days, just this week. Okay, there's water here from us. Maybe you'll buy it, maybe you don't. I'll tell you a secret. Among these people here, I know we're already recording. Water price went up by 1 rand 2 cents just this week. Overnight. Woke up, guys, they're like, oh, okay, why? No, Rand Water needed supply. All of us need to shower, bath, do everything. Rand Water said, okay, prices go up. Let's keep going. So creating shared value is something that we believe in that we need to support one another. We all have food and products that come together, right? But it takes a little bit of courage to do something different. So we want to play in that. And for us, it's about this thing that you often hear about, ES what G, okay? We're going to focus on social for a bit because no one often talks about it. It's a bit scary, okay? But that's why we need the youth, because I can't solve it. Even if I'm on Twitter, even if someone's telling me a report, even someone's telling me that the environment is in flux, I can't support and make a difference on my own. So I look outward. I look for partners, ideas. I never want to be the only person in the room that has an answer, but I'd like to be part of a solution. One of the solutions that we came up with, that's a globally driven program, is about the realities that are facing our society and our communities. So this little wheel talks about young people wanting to aspire to something different. Employment, employability, entrepreneur, agripreneurship. That's our business. We might be able to take from the earth as much as we need, but it's about what we put back into it that matters. So we ask that agriculturalists or people with great ideas present innovative ways of bringing those solutions back to us. And that's why Nestlé needs youth. Because the stalwarts have been in our business, can't think like that anymore. They're just thinking about stability. But we need propulsion, we need energy, we need to go forward. And sometimes we need small business to think about how do we go forward? Because I'm in a big company. I can tell you now, guys, you can send me an email now. Jeez, I'm still thinking about the cows. You know what I mean? Like, we need different minds to come together and make that impact a little bit different.
My naam is Steven, my van is Karelse. Ek is 'n tanker driver. Ek gaan haal melk op plase en bring dit na die fabriek. Ek het 2014 hier begin bestuur tot en met nou. Met my koms hierso by Nestlé het ek eers saam met 'n drywer gery, 'n trokbestuurder gery. Hy het my geleer wat moet daar gedoen word, wat die veiligheid is. En nadat het hy weer saam met my gery om te kyk of ek geskik is vir die job, vir die werk en so hulle my ek is geskik gewees en dis hoekom ek vandag kan trok ry. Ek myself as die bestuurder van die trok doen net 'n luistertoets en kyk na die temperatuur. Ek wil graag die werk gedoen het en so aan. Dis eintlik hoekom ek my werk so geniet. Ek myself het ook 'n klein dogtertjie en dit maak my so trots om te weet haar daddy gaan al die melk op die plaas en dit word hier gemaak en op die einde van die dag kan my dogtertjie ook deel wees van daai melk en so aan.
So this is a bunch of words. And often we sit around the room at work and we always focus on why. Why? But I ask each and every one of you, the next time you think about making an impact, ask why not. Because, like I say, sitting in Bryanston is not going to solve the problems of the continent. But if you have an idea, we can definitely do it together. Thanks, guys.